Welcome to John, Sue, and Michael Rosmer's video battlethon inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. Today's topic is about contradictory opposites or complementary opposites. You ever wonder why bad things exist or negativity exists? Everyone talks about, oh, it 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 shouldn't have happened, but why does it always happen so often? This actually happens, just as much if you actually count it out. It probably have bad things in perspective happen as much as good things in perspective. So I'm going to do a definition of what contradictory opposites are, and then a definition of complementary opposites, and then share with you another idea or theory on why maybe complementary opposites is a more accurate way of seeing why life is the way it is as opposed to contradictory opposites. So contradictory opposites basically means that there's one story that's valid and the other one is invalid. So for example, giving is always good. And if that were true, if we could look at contradictory opposites, that would mean giving is both sides of the coin. And that's the only choice. But then how does that represent people who don't give or don't want to give? Or how does that even explain the existence of when giving's bad? If giving's so good and it represents both sides of the coin, can giving not be bad? Have you ever been in a situation where you gave something and it didn't turn out good in your opinion? Right? So that's where I'm pointing to say is people who believe in contradictory opposites think the coin is a two-sided coin with only one outcome, right? And it's the good outcome. If you look at life is not good, not all good. It's actually quite bad. It's right. So what I'm going to define as complementary opposites, which in my opinion is a more encompassing and more well-rounded and complete theory on how life actually is that there's the coin of life and there is good things and there is bad things, and that they both represent life as it is, right? And it represents all the perspectives of good and bad, because at the end of the day, your perspective is your own personal opinion. And as you know, opinions are cheap and plenty. But who is right, who is wrong? Or maybe, as in complementary opposites, right and wrong both exist in the same event and situation, depending on your own personal beliefs. And that's the actual complete understanding and truth of the matter. So let's think of it like this. Something bad. Failing. Failing is bad. Most people understand failing as a bad thing. So then one would want to ask themselves, has there been anything good that has ever come from failing? I can think of many. How many times I try to pick up girls at the bar? I got shot down. More times than I can count. Right? Infinity would probably be the amount of times I got shot down. But being shot down that many times, you develop a really thick skin. You really develop a sense of self, because getting ground down to nothing by getting shot down so many times, you really find yourself and you kind of find out what you're made of and what you're not made of. But it brings a real moment of honesty, and I would consider that a good thing. And somebody would say, well, John, that's, I went through the same thing. I got shot down. Now I'm scared of girls. And yeah, that could also happen. So when you look at the whole idea of complementary opposites, that there are two sides of the coin of life, it doesn't say, oh, why did that happen? It says, here's why it happened, because that's one side or one coin of life. Right? It's a 50-50 chance of happening. That's why it exists. It's because you can succeed or not succeed. It could be a good thing or could it be a bad thing. It just really depends on which side of the coin life lands on. So that's my 2 cents on contradictory opposites versus complementary opposites. Contradictory opposites are basically a two-sided coin, or you would say two heads or two tails, right? So when you think, oh my God, life's bad or life's good, you're looking at a two-sided coin with only one outcome, and that's not the whole story. It's only one side of the coin, confused as two sides of the coin. Versus complementary opposites, where it's good and bad, or it's two sides of the coin with two potential opposites. But that coin or that theory of thinking covers both options of good or bad. And you're probably wondering, what the hell's my point? Okay, complementary, contradictory. We are only stuck when we don't understand a situation, and and trying to force situations that are one-sided outcomes of good or bad. That's what keeps us stuck, is because we don't see the whole situation, right? You want to talk about stress. Stress is the negative, the double negative coin, right? Or when you're in high elation in a, say for example, romance, the double-sided coin of positivity. But eventually the coins will always tip, and that's when people can't deal with it and get surprised, right? You can't deal with something you didn't expect, and that's what causes stress. So that's my 2 cents. Live and experience life as a complementary opposite, or else you'll stay stuck in life trying to live a contradiction of the truth. Thank you.